Hello and welcome to another episode of Geared Toward Gear. My name's Sean and I'm so glad you're here. Today I want to talk to you about how to get the most bang for your buck when it comes to kind of customizing a folding knife and kind of making it your own. There's plenty of options on how you can do that, and they range from very inexpensive kind of DIY all the way up to hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So just one example here that I did recently, and I did a video on this, was swapping out a new set of handle scales on this Benchmade bug out, and I love the result. I'm happy with it, but they're not cheap. These were, I think, $85 for these scales, and they can go up in price upward, in the hundreds of dollars depending on materials for titanium and custom anodization and things like that. But I thought it was worth it, and I'm happy with it. I also recently did another scale swap on another Benchmade bug out, and these are Rogue Blade Works scales. These are Alan Putman. And on these Rogue Blade Works, I got carbon fiber, and they look fantastic. The fit is phenomenal. Quality's great. Couldn't be happier. But it's not something that's realistic for me anyway, and I think for a lot of people to do on every knife that you purchase. And you may notice some things kind of hiding in the corners here, and we will talk about those. So it's not, for me at least, fiscally responsible or feasible, financially speaking, to replace scales on every knife that I purchase. Nor do I want to, frankly. I did it on these two because I just frankly did not like the factory scales. But that's kind of beside the point. So let's talk about how you can get bang for your buck. So on this knife here, when I changed out the scales and put on the carbon fiber from Rogue Blade Works, I wanted to get a little more pop of color as opposed to the standard factory black hardware. And so I found a company on Instagram, and I started following them just recently. And the company is called Blades We Love. And the guy who runs his name's Steve, and he does amazing custom work, handle scales, all different materials, pocket clips, anodizing work, and hardware. And so I found his eBay store, and he happened to offer a set of hardware for the bug out. And so I went with blue, and it's made from titanium. And this set of hardware cost me $18.99, somewhere around there. It was less than $20, and that included shipping to my door. And I think it just makes it pop that much more. It looks phenomenal, matches the factory thumb stud and the factory barrel spacers, and just looks excellent. The quality on the hardware in terms of the fitment with the Torx bit, just the overall fit, into the existing scales, was just excellent. And so when I placed the order, I actually ordered two sets of hardware, one for the bug out and one for the Para 3 lightweight. And this is kind of where you get the bang for your buck, okay? These handle scales I'm perfectly fine with. I like the bidirectional texturing that Spyderco does, and had no desire to change these handle scales. But I got to thinking as I was kind of searching around his eBay store, what could I do to this knife to make it my own and give it that custom touch? And the answer for me was just the hardware. No scales, just hardware. And this set of hardware also cost less than $20 shipped to my door. Also blue titanium, great quality, and I think it looks phenomenal. It's a total night and day difference between factory silver hardware and this custom blue titanium hardware. And I did on my Instagram page and Facebook page post a photo of kind of before and after if you want to go and look at that to see the factory scales, or factory hardware rather, compared to the aftermarket hardware. So if you want bang for your buck, that's a really good way to do it, is just with the hardware. Of course, there's other ways, DIY stuff like dyeing your scales with RIT dye. That works pretty well and is very cost effective. But for me, the hardware just seemed like a very obvious choice for this knife in particular. So let me tell you a quick story, and this is actually really important, at least it was for me, about this company. Again, I found Blades We Love on Instagram. Don't know Steve at all. Never met him, never talked to him. I just went on his eBay store and I placed an order like anybody else. And it was one order for both sets of hardware. When they arrived at my door, the bug out hardware was in the envelope, and inside the envelope was a Ziploc bag. Had all the hardware, good to go. The second envelope with the Para 3 hardware had a Ziploc bag in it, and the Ziploc bag was empty. The hardware was missing. It just wasn't there. And so I went on eBay, just like you would with any order, and I clicked Contact Seller, and I sent a message to the company, and I said, hey, I just got this order, and this hardware was missing. I sent a photo along with it to show the empty bag, and Steve responded within probably an hour or two, and his response was, I apologize for the oversight. I'm going to get another set out to you as soon as possible. This hardware then arrived at my door 2 days later. The initial order only took like 4 days to get to my house, very fast shipping. But this replacement for the ones that were missing only took 2 days. And it really, to me, spoke very highly of the company and the way Steve does business. I was already sold on the company just based on the photos on Instagram and the quality of the hardware that I received for the bug out. This little hiccup with the missing hardware, believe it or not, for me, actually made me like this company even more because of the way Steve does business. I'm a pretty forgiving person, right? If you work in any industry, especially a small business where you're shipping retail product in high volumes, things happen, right? We've all had an Amazon package get lost or something go wrong at some point. It happens, right? We're all human. And so I wasn't upset in the least. I just wanted my hardware. And so I sent a message saying, hey, I didn't get it. And he rectified it immediately. He didn't ask questions. He didn't assume that I was just lying to him and that I did get the hardware and was trying to get a second set for free. He just said, I apologize, and we'll get it set out just as quickly as we can. And he certainly did that. So it's just kind of funny how things kind of work out sometimes, in that I only got half of my order, and it further solidified the fact that if I ever need hardware or handle scales for any knife moving forward, this is where I'm going to start. So much so, actually, that just a couple days later, I ordered a set of hardware. I haven't gotten it yet for my PM2. I recently got this, and I actually like the G10 that Spyderco does. So no desire to change the scales. But again, that bang for your buck to just change the hardware, I decided to do that with my PM2, and immediately I thought I need to go on eBay and see if Blades We Love offers hardware for the PM2, and he did. So I ordered some hardware. When that comes in, I'll do a video showing the hardware and kind of the install. But again, if you want to get bang for your buck and not drop $85 on a set of aftermarket scales, and that's kind of minimum, right, for like G10 or carbon fiber. If you're talking titanium and C-Tech inlays and things like that, you're getting into the hundreds of dollars. But for $20, I was able to take this knife here and make it my own. The Para 3 lightweight, it's night and day, the difference between factory silver hardware and the aftermarket blue titanium hardware. If you go to my Instagram page, you'll see the before and after photo, also on my Facebook page as well. So bang for your buck, hardware, that's where it's at. If you're the type that has disposable income and you like aftermarket scales on all your knives, that's totally badass. I totally get it. I wish I could do it more. And if I was going to do it, frankly, again, I'd probably start by seeing what Steve offers. But I guess the main message here is two things. One, hardware goes a long way. You don't always need aftermarket scales. And two, and I think more importantly, for me anyway, is if I ever need hardware, ever, period, this is where I'm going. I'm going to Steve, and I'm going to Blades We Love to see if he offers what I'm looking for. If he doesn't offer what I'm looking for, I'm going to send him a message and ask him if he can make it. If he can't, then I may look elsewhere. But otherwise, Blades We Love has my business for for the foreseeable future because of how they do business. So I just wanted to share that, both to highlight just the phenomenal customer service and experience that I had with Blades We Love, but also just let you know that you don't always have to spend 85, $100 on scales. Just throw some $20, $30, $40 hardware on there, and I think you'll be really shocked at the difference that it makes. So that's it for this evening. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, I will leave links below for Steve's Instagram page, as well as his eBay store if you want to check out his work and see what he has to offer. So thanks again, and I'll talk to you soon.